Michael, you shamed me for wanting sex. You, the son who called me a dirty old woman for craving sex. And by the end of this video, you will understand exactly what you actually did. But first, remember who I was before the silence. I was the woman who danced in your kitchen, who laughed too loud at her own jokes, who your father called his greatest adventure. That woman did not disappear because she got old. She disappeared because she believed 3 words you said on a Sunday afternoon: dirty old woman. I am saying sex out loud, on camera, publicly, because you said it like it was shameful, and I stayed silent like it was shameful. And that silence, my silence, cost me something I can never get back. Not 4 years, not 5, 10. A full decade of my life gone, because I chose your comfort over my own truth. What I am about to say, I should have said the moment those words left your mouth. You were 44 years old, your kitchen, Sunday afternoon. I had made us tea the way I always did, and I said quietly that I had met someone, a man, someone who made me feel seen. And the look on your face, I will never forget that look. Like I had broken a rule you had written for me without telling me it existed. And you said it gently, quietly: dirty old woman. And I, who had raised you, who had held you, who had loved you before I loved myself, picked up my tea, changed the subject, made sure you were comfortable. I did not say I am a 72-year-old woman and I still want sex, who still wants to be touched, who still wants to feel alive in her own body. I folded it away neatly, politely. And it wasn't just that Sunday. It was every Sunday after, every visit. Every time I almost said his name, caught the look on your face, and swallowed it back down. And that was how a woman who used to dance in the kitchen learned to sit very still instead. So, let me tell you what you actually got right. Something was wrong in that kitchen. You just had the wrong person. What was wrong was not me craving sex at 72. What was wrong was not me wanting to be held. What was wrong was that a grown man looked at his mother and felt disgust where there should have been nothing but love. But Michael, you did not invent that disgust. You learned that women like me are supposed to be finished, that sex belongs to the young, that desire in a woman my age is something to be managed, not respected. And I never corrected it, not once. I never stood in front of you and said, I am a woman, not just your mother, with a body that is still alive, with desires that do not require your approval. You loved me, I know that. You just loved a version of me that was easier to manage than the real one. That is my regret, not the desire, not the man I met. My regret is that I raised you in my silence and expected you to understand what I never taught you. That is the first thing you were right about. But there is a second, and that one is harder to say. Let me tell you what 10 years of silence actually costs. 3,650 days of telling myself that what I felt was something to be ashamed of. Why bother with the good blouse when there is nobody to notice? Why bother with the perfume on the dresser since your father died? Why bother at all? I took up watercolor painting because someone told me it was calming. I was not calm. I was a woman being eaten alive by her own silence. And then, in the 3rd year, I met David. He was 68. He had kind eyes, and he made me laugh for the first time since I could remember. He wanted me, all of me, including the parts you had told me were something to be ashamed of. And I turned him away, made myself unavailable, stopped returning his calls, chose your 3 words over a man who saw me clearly and wanted me anyway. David got married 2 years later, a woman his age, someone who had not talked herself out of being human. I lost him because a 62-year-old woman believed your 3 words more than she believed her own heart. 3,650 days, and a man named David who had kind eyes and made me laugh. That is what 10 years of silence costs. This was never about sex. It was about being seen. When you said those words, you did not just take away my desire. You took away the version of me that was still curious, still warm, still alive. And I let you, because here is what loneliness actually does. It does not arrive loudly. It just quietly begins removing you from yourself. First, you stop getting dressed properly. Then you stop having opinions. Then you stop finishing your own sentences. Then one morning you look in the mirror and the woman looking back is polite and quiet and takes up very little space. And you think, when did she replace me? That is what 10 years of not being allowed to want things looks like. Not loneliness for another body in the bed. Loneliness for your own self. The self that reached for things, that was inconvenient and alive and not yet finished. First, no one gets to put an expiry date on your desire. Wanting sex at 72 is not a malfunction. It is the proof that you are still here. Second, the silence is not kindness. I was teaching you that women disappear after a certain age. That was not love, Michael. That was a lie. It cost me David. It cost me 10 years. It cost me the woman who used to dance in the kitchen. I am not angry at you. I was angry for a long time. But anger held this long is just grief wearing the wrong coat. What I grieved was the version of me I left behind in your kitchen. The woman who danced in the kitchen, who laughed too loud, who your father called his greatest adventure. She was still there the whole time, sitting very quietly, waiting for permission that was never mine to ask for. To every woman watching, a woman does not stop being a woman because her children find it inconvenient. You are not dirty. You are not wrong. You are not too old. You are human, completely, fully, without apology. I told you, Michael, you were right about one thing. The first answer, something was wrong, just the wrong person. Here is the second thing you were right about. You were right that I needed to change. You wanted me to change into someone who was finished. But the change I actually needed was this: to stop being silent, to stop folding myself away, to stop choosing everyone else's comfort over my own life. You were right that something needed to change. You were just catastrophically wrong about what. The change was not to become less. The change was to finally become more. I am still here.